This is our first video,
It
and
is.
you probably don't realize this, even though we haven't posted any of our podcasts stuff
Not
yet.
yet.
We've done a few, but we've been working really hard on this end, and we wanted to let you kind of now into the inside of what's going on. I'm Janet Trevino,
I am Denise Menchaca.
and we have the Touch is Medicine podcast, where we'll be making touch accessible and smart. A little bit that you might not know. Denise is an amazing researcher, and so she's bringing the smarts. I have some smarts too, but like
You have a lot of smarts.
But
You got some smarts.
I'm letting her do all the heavy work here around the smart stuff, research and looking at all the peer reviewed journals and all of that. And so, if it feels like we're a little delayed, it's all for good. It's good.
It's good.
It's on her end.
It's
but yes,
my fault.
it's
My fault. I'm in the middle of reading and sort of formulating and percolating and all that kind of good stuff. So we bring you good smart stuff.
Good. And it's the big picture, right? Which I think is important, so that when we can really study what's happening in terms of just like human experience, and then we take touch and we begin to understand touch in a brand new way.
Absolutely.
So, which means our first big subject that we're working in our first season of podcasts will be on identity.
Identity and touch.
Which, I mean, when I first heard that, I was like, well, that's not sexy. But
Well, she asked me. She's like, "What do you want to do?" And
So
I'm
that's
like,
smart.
"I want to do identity."
It is
and
smart.
she's all like,
we will make it fun and sexy and really interesting and provocative, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we're super excited to bring that to you. And also, we're looking for some of you who would be willing to share stories around who you are in touch. And so let's give them a taste of what we're looking for.
Okay.
Denise, when you think back
Yeah.
on your life,
Yeah.
is there a touch memory, a type of touch that you received that influenced who you are or how you access touch?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's one memory in particular that is, I think, really important to shaping who I am. It's like a moment when I realized in my own family culture, it's like that some of my family members were more touchy-feely and others were not. But for my mom, I didn't realize until I went to hug her. I was probably just graduated from high school, and I had friends who were clearly from families where they did lots of hugging and lots of kind of cuddling and that kind of thing, lots of warm, platonic touch. And I went to go and hug my mom, so I started learning how to hug my friends and all of this kind of stuff. And when my mom, she would stiffen up. So she would stiffen up. So non-verbally, her reaction was sort of braced. And it really, at that moment, I realized, I'm like, oh, wow. I didn't understand what was going on. I just understood that at that particular point, it wasn't a natural thing for her. It's not just, it wasn't unwanted necessarily. It just wasn't warmly invited. So she didn't say, don't ever do that to me again, which my mom would. I mean, that would be something that she would communicate, was like, don't do that again. But it was one of those where she tried, and over time, little by little, she would sort of lean into it. But
How did that affect you?
I think it made me really aware. It's like, oh, so touching was this thing you kind of had to learn how to do, and that hugging was something you had to learn how to do. It was not something that necessarily, at least, was maybe innate, or if it was innate, it wasn't in my family. So we got sort of socialized out of that. But then when I was learning how to hug my friends and all of that kind of stuff, I realized this is cool and this is really nice. So yeah.
So you learned it outside the home, which shaped identity stuff for sure. And we'll probably explore more of your story in our podcast when we get there. And for me, touch was always me giving to elders, right? So my elders never came to me and were like, let me give you a hug. I don't remember that. It may have happened. I don't remember.
Yeah.
What I remember more is like the bedtime ritual was me going to my parents and saying goodnight and giving them a kiss, or giving a massage or a foot rub for my mom. But I was, she'd ask for it, but I would do it to her. It wasn't reciprocal.
Okay.
It was one directional. And now I'm like really hungry for giving. I like to get lots of touch. So I'm. If you ever come to a cuddle party with me, you'll see that I'm like, ooh, do all the things. Give me a head rub and feet massage. And
that's exactly what you asked me to do when my first cuddle party. I was sort of like, you said, can I put my head in your lap and will you play with my hair? And I'm like, well, okay.
Yes, there's childhood needs there, as you can see. But yeah, so we're looking for your story. So this is where you can contribute. There's a few of you that would be willing to come onto the podcast and begin to share some of these identity and touch stories, which are touch, I call it touch identity stories. You may have one that really shaped who you are, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all, and hope to stay connected. If you are, if you're watching this on YouTube, which more likely you will be, there's a Touch is Medicine podcast Facebook page. Right. We'll be doing our live videos there, and then putting them on YouTube.
Yes.
And also there's Instagram, and we have our do we have a Twitter? I don't know about our Twitter, but like definitely
we've got it all set up.
We're trying to like get it all set up, so find us somewhere. But eventually we'll have our podcast.
She's a social media guru.
And we'll have our podcast done, and we'll start our series. So thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.